like a Shakur Stevenson. I told you, I said he needs some development. He needs those kind of fights to be put in to get ready. Now, he can jump out the plane with no parachute on his team, but anybody can tell that they plan that he needs more fights to develop. He forced and got what he got. What I had on the table was much more bigger than anything that you could have been forced to do. Because never in the history of boxing had the undisputed champion been forced to do anything. What Devin did was gave me specific orders to put the fight on the table for Shakur because the people were saying that they wanted it. And you know what I mean? So.
Oh yeah, we ain't gonna waste no time. We gonna jump straight into this video, but make sure that y'all hit my like button and subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And to all the haters out there, hit the thumbs down because you know it's in your blood. Now, we not gonna waste no time, man. First, I'm gonna break down what he said about Shakur Stevenson in regards to Devin Haney, and then I'm gonna let y'all know, and I'm gonna let y'all hear what he had to say about Gervonta Davis. When he starts talking about Shakur Stevenson, he basically says that Shakur Stevenson needs more development before he come effing with Devin Haney. Now, it's funny to me because, for one, when Shakur Stevenson has been better than Devin Haney throughout his whole career, you have a nerve enough to come and say, now that y'all beat Regis Prograis, right? All of a sudden now, Shakur, he needs more development. When we already know, I know this for a fact, that Shakur Stevenson in his last fight, he had 2 injuries. He had a torn labrum in his right shoulder, and it protruded down to his bicep. And he also had a torn ligament in his middle finger, which I have the paperwork. I have the MRI. Knockout Boxing 86 TV also has his MRIs. And I just seen a video with Blue Blood Sports TV. He put out an actual visual of Shakur Stevenson's left hand, the one that he wasn't throwing before the fight. In his whole hand, his knuckle was swole up before the fight. So, I mean, I don't have to keep carrying on about that. But Bill Haney, he takes that one fight where Shakur was injured, and he tries to run with that. And now, all of a sudden, he trying to make a narrative saying that Shakur not ready for fighters like Devin Haney. He needs to develop more. And first thing is, why are you even talking about Shakur Stevenson when Devin had a chance to fight him? He had a chance to show that Shakur is not ready for Devin and he needs to develop more. I mean, Shakur took it all the way to the WBC to force Devin Haney's hand, and Devin moved up in weight. Devin didn't stick around to see what the WBC was going to rule. The WBC could have been like, you know what? You only get 30%, Shakur. And Shakur would have had to go through it, or everybody would have called him a duck. But Devin didn't want that fight. Now, later on several different occasions, Devin slipped up and revealed that he wasn't going to stay at 135 all along, that he had grown out of the weight division, that everybody wanted to see him lose so bad, they wanted him to stay at 135 and be unhealthy and lose. He even showed a note that he had written to himself at the beginning of the year saying that he was going to beat Vasil Lomachenko and then move up to 140 pounds directly after that and win the title at 140. The man even came out and says that he wasn't going to ever fight Gervonta Davis at 135, right? Say he wasn't going to fight Tank at 135. Tank had to move to 140. So newsflash, if he wasn't able to take a fight against Gervonta Davis at 135, y'all believe that he was going to stay at 135 to fight Shakur? Make it make sense. And all of the 25% lies that Devin told throughout that whole ongoing saga, going on interviews, telling everybody that Shakur Stevenson was going to make more money than he's made in his whole career with all of his fight purses combined. When Devin just made $4 million versus Regis Prograis, and Shakur Stevenson made $4 million versus Edwin De Los Santos. In his public information, y'all can look it up. So where was all this money going to come from? Was Bob Arum going to put up $50+ million for you and Shakur Stevenson to fight? Y'all just got to make this make sense to me, because you talking about Shakur was going to make all of this money taking only 25%. Nigga, when you making the same amount that he making in his fights, you ain't getting no back end, because selling 30 to 50,000 pay-per-views, where's the back end? Because any money that's coming from the pay-per-view buys, that's going to the promoter. You don't get no back end money. You didn't do enough pay-per-views to get any back end money. Now the promoter got to cover his ass for overpaying you and Regis. Let's just keep it a buck. It is not one fighter on Devin Haney's resume that Shakur Stevenson wouldn't easily beat. Not one. That's why the toughest fight on Devin Haney's resume, Vasyl Lomachenko, the fighter that a lot of people feel beat Devin Haney. I don't feel that way, but the majority of fans will say that Vasyl won that fight. Even Loma thinks that Shakur is a better fighter than Haney. That's why he refused to fight Shakur Stevenson, and still to this day wants a rematch with Devin. So I think it's highly disrespectful for Bill Haney to now try to run with a narrative and say that Shakur needs more development before he come effing with somebody like a Devin Haney. Now let's move on to what Bill had to say about Gervonta Davis. I'm going to let y'all hear the audio, and then we're going to come back and cook on that real quick.
They care. No, they care. No, this shit is for the record and the money. This shit is for legacy. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about it. For real. Your favorite fighter. Huh? You fill in the blank. Sent him something, we made ourselves available for him. Huh? Did your favorite fighter do the same? Did your favorite fighter do the same thing? We sent them something to fight. We called their number. Now, what did your fighter do? Huh? Tell me in the chat. What did your fighter do?
Now, first thing first, do I think that Devin and Gervonta should be fighting next? Absolutely, I think they should be fighting next, because I'm not down with going back and forth and talking all this big shit on the internet and not fighting. And they've been talking back and forth for years. But Devin and his team sending Gervonta Davis a contract, y'all know it's not going to work like that. Y'all are the B-side, and that's a problem with Bill. That's a problem why Devin is probably ain't going to get no big fights for a long time to come, because they continue to act like that they the A-side to fighters like Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis when they're not. That's why you not getting these big fights, because y'all don't want to realize that you're not the A-side. Yeah, you do have more accomplishments than these other fighters. That is a fact. But it don't work like that. It goes by how much money you generate, how many asses you putting in the seats, how many pay-per-views are you selling. And for the record, me personally, I wish none of that shit mattered in the sport of boxing, because I want to see all of these fighters get in there and fight each other, so we have to stop going back and forth and talking about it, and we can actually see the product in the ring against each other. But this is the reality of how shit work in boxing, and I can't change that. So with all that being said, the pay-per-views that Devin Haney is selling and the money that he's generating does not coincide with the accomplishments that you have. That's just how boxing is nowadays. So you can't send Gervonta Davis and them no offer. Leonard Ellaby already told you, can't nobody send Tank an offer. They the ones that send the offer. So you got to wait to see if they're going to send Devin the offer. And another thing, you're not the A-side once again, so you can't say that He got to come to 140 and fight me. I'm not doing no rehydration clauses or nothing. If you telling him that he has to go to your weight division and fight you, well, how you gonna then turn around and tell him it can't be no rehydration clauses? That's A side talk. And once again, you are not the A side. So yeah, y'all need to fight. But if you gonna pretend like that y'all the A side during negotiations, it ain't gonna be no fight. And that's just what it's gonna be. You know what I'm saying? Straight like that. I hope that y'all get up off of that shit. I hope y'all get up off of your high horse and realize, because y'all know how boxing is ran, but y'all gotta realize that, you know? So let's see if Gervonta Davis sends Devin Haney an offer, and then we can go from there. But right now, they trying to play big dog shit, and they not the big dog to fighters like Tank and Ryan Garcia. It is what it is. Let me know how y'all feel. Drop a comment in the comment section. Make sure that y'all hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hate if you want to. Y'all already know how I do. There you go, talking that boxing again, and I'm gone.
We've been through the crowd with the bass up loud, just